Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has made his first visit to the border area since his forces launched a surprise offensive into Russia's Kursk region earlier this month. Speaking to the country's top military commander Alexander Siersky, Zelensky said new prisoners of war would help build an exchange fund to swap for captured Ukrainians. He also said Ukrainian forces had captured another village in Kursk but didn't name it. Zelensky said last week that Ukraine has no plans to occupy the area long term, but wants to create a buffer zone to prevent further attacks from that area into Ukraine. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian drone strike targeted the Marinovka airbase in Volgograd. The region's governor confirmed that a defense ministry facility had been attacked with drones and said there had been no casualties. Outside Moscow on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke about the situation with governors of regions bordering Ukraine. Putin claimed that Ukraine had attempted to strike the Kursk nuclear power plant.
Международное агентство по атомной энергии проинформировано. Они обещают сами приехать, прислать специалистов для оценки ситуации. Надеюсь, что в конце концов это будет с их стороны сделано.
And in Washington, U.S. officials said the Biden administration will send about $125 million in new military aid to Ukraine. The latest package will reportedly include air defense missiles, HIMARS munitions, and counter-electronic warfare systems.
Romania's Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu met with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels to discuss the country's candidate and portfolio in the new executive term. Similar to Italy and the Czech Republic, the Romanian leader declared he wanted his commissioner to have a portfolio linked to economic policies.
Îmi doresc un portofoliu cât mai relevant, ținând cont că suntem a șasea țară ca și mărime din cadrul Uniunii Europene. A vorbit și domnul președinte pe extindere, deci vom vedea. Eu mi-aș dori să rămânem. Portofoliul pe extindere e mai mult politic. Eu mi-aș dori și cred eu că următorii ani țin foarte mult de economie. Sunt despre economie. Mi-aș dori ceva în această zonă.
Ciolacu's pick for the position is one of the vice presidents of the European Parliament, the socialist MEP Victor Negrescu. Bucharest also did not present a female name, despite Ursula von der Leyen requesting this from all member states. Negrescu justified his pick to Euronews by arguing that the last two Romanian commissioners were women and emphasized his youth instead, as he is 39 years old.
I think what is important for the Commission is to have someone that is involved at European level, that has the experience necessary to be part of the European Commission. Of course, I'm also young, and I think we also need young people in the Commission because we want to be appealing to young citizens across Europe that have participated to a large extent at the European election.
The Prime Minister will only make the official announcement on August 26th, after a final battle with the other two parties in the government coalition, who have also presented candidates. Negrescu has been in the European Parliament for around a decade, interrupted by a year's experience as Minister for European Affairs. Ursula von der Leyen expects to receive the names of all the candidates from countries by the end of August.
Two weeks into Kyiv's surprise incursion into Russian territory, and Ukrainian forces show no sign of stopping, as Ukraine crossing from Sumy into Russia's Kursk region caught everyone off guard, including civilians, observers, Ukraine's Western allies, and some Russian authorities. According to Institute for the Study of War analysts, the operational security was crucial.
The basically secrecy in which the planning for this was shrouded in is proving to be very, very important. And I think that Ukraine rightly learned from its experience planning for the 2023 counteroffensive last year because there was a lot of messaging and a lot of telegraphing for that. And it really allowed the West, but also Russia, to basically anticipate where Ukraine was going to attack and when.
Experts from the Institute for the Study of War believes that seeing the conflict reach their own border could change the Russian people's perspective on the war.
There's so many nuances that right now seem very fresh, but I think will generate discontent in the long term. The use of conscripts, for example. And then more broadly, that idea that the Russian border is not impermeable, that it is actually a vulnerability, and that Russian society needs to start seeing it as a vulnerability. I think that will change a lot of the ways that Russian society is viewing the war and seeing kind of how the war can actually be felt by the Russian domestic populace, whereas they've been very largely apathetic towards it in the past.
Ukraine claims to have seized over 1,000 square kilometers in the Kursk region, surpassing what Russia captured in Ukraine over 8 months. Yet the term war remains banned here, as it does throughout the rest of Russia. The European Commission is mobilizing support for Portugal as it battles a wildfire near Iberia Brava Madeira. The spokesperson for the EU Commission, Balajuvar, said that after Portugal activated the EU Civil Protection Mechanism, the EU provided 2 firefighter jets and implemented additional measures.
Now, at the request of Portugal last week, we also activated what we call the Copernicus satellite system, which has allowed us to provide Portugal with a significant number of satellite images. The Commission will, of course, continue to observe the situation on the ground, and we are ready to mobilize additional assistance if needed.
In anticipation of this year's fire season, the bloc has strengthened its rescue and European civil protection corps capabilities. The EU's response now includes 28 airplanes and 4 helicopters from 10 member states. Additionally, over 560 firefighters from 12 countries have been deployed across Europe, ready to help local fire brigades.
The body of UK billionaire Mike Lynch has been recovered and brought back to land following the sinking of his vessel in Sicilian waters. 5 people have been confirmed dead in the incident. 1 person is still missing. 15 survived. They were rescued by a nearby sailboat. The 56-meter-long boat sank in the early hours of Monday morning during a violent storm, as it was moored about a kilometer off the coast of the town of Porticello. Civil protection officials said they believe the ship was struck by a tornado over the water, known as waterspout. But questions remain open as to how such a large yacht, the Bayesian, sank in a matter of minutes. On Wednesday, Italian authorities quizzed the boat's captain, James Catfield, for over 2 hours, trying to find out more.
A mobile ramp, a giant swim belt and 2 helping hands. That's all it takes to enjoy the summer in Balaton, even for those who live their whole life in a wheelchair. After a 4-year break, the Maltese charity service has held its 5-day youth camp, in which 105 people with physical disabilities participated in, each with a volunteer by their side.
Balaton a mi rivieránk, úgyhogy ide tudunk jönni, fürdőprogram van, kivisszük őket a vízre, most pont amíg beszélünk vitorláznak, egy része a strandon van, sokaknak ez az első alkalom, amikor víz közelbe kerülnek és kimennek a vízre.
The campers could enjoy a sports exhibition featuring para-athletes, alongside a fun fair with bull riding, skill games and target shooting. They could even race cars with their minds. For Richard, this is his 6th camp. He says the most important thing is that there are no barriers and anyone can make friends here.
Egészségesek és sérültek együtt tudják kiegészítve egymást segíteni, és programokat együtt megélni.
Young people can finally party together. During the day, they sing retro hits on the sailboat, and in the evening, they can have a beer or two during the concerts.
Itt négyen fociznak kerekes székekből, pedig közülük csak egy fiatal mozgássérült. Ennek a tábornak pont az a lényege, hogy egészségesek és fogyatékkal élők együtt érezzék jól magukat, és minden fiatal megértse, hogy milyen lehet tolószékbe kényszerülni. Siposegyi Zoltán, Euronews Balatonfenyves.
Beer lovers rejoice. The 2-week hop picking season has kicked off in Czech Republic. It is one of the world's largest hop producers, with over half of its harvest destined for export, mostly to China and Japan.
60 až 80% českého chmele jde do zahraničí na vývoz a jsou to právě ty jemné aromatické chmele.
While there has been a reduction in beer production since COVID, there has been a rise in demand for premium beers with higher hop content. Czech Republic currently has around 5,000 hectares of hop farms, which is 6 hectares less than last year. The Agricultural Ministry counts about 120 registered growers this year. With the earliest record of its cultivation in the 11th century, hop is one of the Czech Republic's most traditional and successful crops.